And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Ooh, to apologize for the break and for the delay, but we have returned. We have the upper semifinals ready for you and spawning in the top right hand corner of the Old Republic. We have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the Blue Terran player, the Blue Terran himself. It is Percival. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim this series. Best of luck in the chat. Do apologize for the delay when it comes to the start of the semifinals. I could not connect to the Korean server, and I still can't connect, so I had to turn on a VPN. I had to VPN my way to Korea, and then I could connect. So, yeah, it looks like there's some kind of weird routing issues, which is not uncommon for the Korean server. Sometimes there are just some routing issues, and you just can't connect. It happens. It happens. Thankfully, we can just VPN it up. But now we're going to be settling in. And again, these two players have become some regulars when it comes to the semis and even the finals of these tournaments. They've been playing so much. And in the past, I want to say like not even that long ago, maybe 5 months ago, ByuN was the heavy favorite. But in recent months, in recent times, Percival's TvT has been improving, and he has been taking maps and even series off of ByuN on a much more regular basis. I will still say that ByuN is favored, but up until this point, like Percival, he hasn't been able to hold his own time and time again. He's been able to hold his own. It'll make ByuN work for it. So coming into this, ByuN is favored, but I would not be surprised if this goes to the ace match. So we can go to the ace match, and hey, there's even a world where Percival could even bring down ByuN. For now, though, we're going to be calming things down. We have Percival building up, going for a single gas geyser, so is ByuN. Again, this is a larger map of the map pool. There's not really much reason to go for a more tech-heavy start. Economic openers all around. Economic openers. Percival does get the first shot off. Nicely done. And hunting down the Reaper as well. Can he get him? And not quite. The Reaper does get away, but it does at least kill the SCV. A nice pick up here by Percival, able to catch out the first Reaper here of ByuN. Able to punish, able to force ByuN back. So a slightly better start here for Percival. Both players getting to their own 1-1-1s. Starports are on the way. Any kind of major deviation here is that ByuN is going for a reactor to Hellion production. Meanwhile, Percival is going for his own add-on swap here into his tech lab, into a more robust mid-game. Into Liberators, skipping out on Hellions. Because of this, there's going to be a lot of pressure on ByuN to get some damage done early. Hellions don't really scale well into a longer game, so this is all about economic damage. So by getting across the map, getting into a mineral line. Percival picks in. Percival does confirm there are Hellions. He knows. He's now aware. I'm sure he did take note that the reactor was still on the factory as well. So Percival should be taking a more defensive stance. As he knows that ByuN should be coming. Percival is aware. Jesus, as we built up a 6? Yes, up to 6 Hellions, baby. Aye. It's a lot of Hellions. ByuN just waiting for his Cyclone. Then he can attempt to just break into the natural and bust into the mineral line. Oh boy. almost like a battle mech starts. I'm still not convinced it is going to be mech. Speaking of mech, that is a second starport on the way. Not quite mech, but this is hyper committed play here by Percival, going for one of the more modern variations of a two-port, two-base setup here. This used to be a two-port, two-base all-in, and basically we're going for reactor to Viking. Reactor to Vikings into a Liberator, hyper aggression out of Percival, very committed. Scan across the map, gets eyes on the production. We have a third CC on location from ByuN. The Hellions are moving out, and can he get into a mineral line? Again, that is a lot of Hellions. Liberator is coming, so are the Vikings. Remember, Percival, he's laying his third base in favor of this. Oh. And Percival does catch out a couple of Hellions. Nice flanking here with the Cyclones. Gets one. Takes out one of the Cyclones, and ByuN gets completely dismantled here in the center of the map. Putting out 3 Hellions, his Cyclone as well. Back at home, what is it to defend? He's got 1 tank on the high ground. He's got his 3 Ravens. But remember, Percival, he does have double starport. He does have more Vikings on the way. His goal here is going to be to take control of the skies and to snowball from there out of control. Auto shot's going to be thrown down. Yeah, throws down the turrets. 1, 2 Ravens do get targeted. And Percival, he barely doesn't have enough here. Yeah, barely not enough. He was just too premature. Came in too soon. And Percival, he will lose everything. The Liberator's going to go down. Again, he just barely didn't have enough. His reinforcements were too late. And that was a big loss here for Percival. Remember, Percival, no third. There's no third base. His third CC is only halfway done. ByuN's is finished. Oh, boy. ByuN's is complete. And sure, we're making 3 Vikings at a time, but it's too late. It's too little too late here. You can see Percival is hunting for a Raven. Well, there's still a bio army on the ground. Oh, gets one. Okay. It's 1 Raven. Liberated into the natural, land of Vikings into the third base. SCVs are going down. Oh my god. Getting a surprising amount of damage, even going for the tank. Okay. 10 SCVs, 11 SCVs in a tank, not bad. Percival. Got nice moves out of Percival, bringing himself back into this game. Things were looking dire, and economically he's still in a rough place. Like, he still has to land his CC, he still has to morph into the orbital, he's still down in mules. Percival, he's clawing his way back into this. What advantages does he have? Percival, he is slightly ahead in Vikings. Ooh, as he's caught out, yeah, 1 Viking goes down, losing up to 2 Vikings immediately, 3 Vikings. So an awkward engage out of Percival. This is keeping ByuN contained. Bold move out of ByuN. Loads up. Loads up, moving out with this drop. Again, there's only 4 Marines to defend his tanks. And Percival, he should recognize this. Should be aware that something is wrong. And he turns around. Yeah, you can see him just race back home. Unfortunately, he doesn't know where the drop is going. So we'll drop into the natural. And the main army moves out. Oh, he's going for the E-base. Denies +1. +1 is going to be denied. It doesn't quite get the other. But nice pick up out of ByuN. ByuN, he starts up 2-2. Both players taking their 4th bases. Both players getting into bio. But again, ByuN is going to have the better upgrades. ByuN currently has the... Oh, actually, he's going to be slightly behind in tanks and behind in Vikings. What does he have instead? Bio. Right, he has 43 Marines. Jesus. That's ByuN making 9 Marines at a time, but it's much more mobile composition. ByuN pulls away, double drop into the natural. This time there are turrets in position, okay? Turrets, they can deter. Despite that, ByuN commits. Oh no! He commits in. Marines are ready. And a medevac should go down. Never mind. They're both so very low. Medevacs, they barely get away. ByuN gets out. As Percival, with his Viking lead, does have his Liberators, true. Liberation has arrived. We'll lead back ByuN. Gets 2 of those tanks. Oh, just one. Yeah, one tank goes down, but he leads out so many Marines. ByuN, he breaks out. And with a mass bio army, he takes down the Liberators, gets on top of the tanks as well. And ByuN, he comes in for the surround. From behind, he gets one more tank, just barely. Would have last that. Brings down the tank. And Percival, he has no pushing power. He has nothing here. He has Vikings and tanks, but he cannot push forward. ByuN holds. ByuN holds on. Again, more Marines have arrived. And with gun is pretty good. It's pretty good. And ByuN holds. He does hold on. Behind this 3-3 is now on the horizon. Again, going to be that much more impactful just because of how heavily reliant ByuN is on his bio army. He moves out. Percival moving in. ByuN does find, what is this, 5 tanks? Oh god. The tanks are on their own. Yeah, and all these tanks are going to go down. At the same time, Percival, he's going for the CC. Does kill the 5th base, but at a cost. As Percival, he has very little to defend. We got some SCVs. Okay, Percival, he's holding on. Pentel Salon did lead out 3 tanks. Oh, and the upgrades are still lopsided here for Percival. He does not have +2. Does not have +2 attack. Percival once again steps across. Gets a tank. And threatening a drop into the main. So far keeping up. Oh, even gets a medevac. Sends away the others. And ByuN is going to be the first to max. He's the first to max out. And the first to embrace 3-3. It's almost ready. Needs a couple more seconds. It's going to have 3-3 bio army against the 1-2 of Percival. Remember, +2 just began. Yeah, oh, doesn't commit. Nice missile, very nice. Missile goes up. Shreds the armor. ByuN rotates, does get a free tank. Percival late with his own defensive rotation. ByuN getting a little bit cavalier, but he does get one more tank. Another tank goes down. ByuN pushing right down mid. Trying to head to the natural. Doesn't find a way in there. Okay. Percival is keeping up. He's keeping up. He's holding on. Again, notoriously, this center base is difficult to defend, but we have more sensor towers, more turrets. Percival's turtling up. Percival he gets into the planetary. Does get into the planetary, barely survives. There's not many Marines here. Oh, ByuN pulls back. A little bit surprised here. ByuN, he totally could have collapsed on these tanks. Yeah, ByuN misreading this. ByuN does take it slow. Trading out tanks, slightly better trade here for ByuN. He's holding on now with reinforcements. He should be able to clean this up. I say that, that's still a lot of tanks, and ByuN, he does barely break through. There's 2 tanks left. Down to 2. ByuN doesn't get on top of them though. But the disable. Yeah, disable runs out. He's still got a line of tanks. ByuN is able to hold on. Gee, the Mass Raven is a problem though. Oh my god. Yeah, all the shots get thrown down. Percival, he does take the fight, cleans up every single tank. But what about the Marines? What about the man with gun back? As Percival, he was going for a much earlier, much faster Raven switch, but now he's out of energy. The Raven's at dead supply. The dead supply here. ByuN hunts down the CC. Again, there's 9 Ravens here for Percival, but he needs energy. Lands a disable. I mean, these Ravens, they are kind of like the end goal. They're the end game. With enough Ravens, you can anti-armor missile the entire ByuN army. You can land the missile, throw down auto turrets, disable tanks. And speaking of, it does connect with the majority of the ByuN. ByuN stimming it anyway. Bold move. Dust him in. Gets one of the tanks. Gets 1. Gets 2. Percival's main army's on the left hand side. And ByuN finds an opening. Again, there's nothing here. There's nothing here. Tanks, they siege up. ByuN stims in. Takes down the tank. Gets 3 Liberals. So he gets 3 Vikings. And takes down the Vikings, takes down the CCs. At the same time, Percival, he's out of position. He has to counterattack. That's all he can do. Oof. That's he will lose 17 SCVs, losing the entire mineral line. At the same time, he should get a base himself. Cashing out a couple of starports. But it's plenty back at home. Yeah, ByuN, he has reinforcements. He has defensive tanks. ByuN holds. And Percival is just being outscaled. He's just being outscaled, just lost an expansion, lost a mineral line, lost an army. And sure, he has Master Raven, but maybe went into this a little bit too soon. A little bit too soon, a little bit too hard. ByuN has just been tearing him apart. Getting another tank. Pulling the fire. Once again, a much more efficient trade here by ByuN. Cancels the base, now within range of the planetary. Oh. ByuN rotates to the center, finding more tanks. Gets one more. And you can see this is where Ravens can excel. Disables all the tanks. Ravens, they pop off. As Percival is almost making, he is making just purely tank Raven. Tank Raven Viking. Switching into mech, but at the same time, there's not that much support for the tanks. Outside of the Ravens. Marines, they shut down the auto turrets. More tanks pushing forward, and ByuN just has too much momentum. He's maxed out. He's maxed out. There's so many tanks. ByuN is dropping a base that doesn't exist. Let's go. Let's looking for another. Again, despite ByuN having the supply lead, it's still very difficult to break a turtling player. Defender's advantage is the thing. These Ravens, they just keep landing those missiles. They keep on shredding the armor. At least on one side. The other ByuN finds 2 more tanks. 2 more tanks go down. Go, we're gonna as Percival, I mean, he does reestablish the base, true. Gets another expansion, slowly saturating. Percival slowly maxing out. Now what's scary is that Percival, he is maxing out with, I would say, technically a superior army with tank Viking Raven. If the armies do clash head on, I do favor Percival, but it's only if they face head on, right? The thing about ByuN's army is that he is more mobile. He can poke in, poke out, rotate, and look for a weaker point in the defense. But it's on ByuN to do so. It's on ByuN to find a way in. Oh, and this is not quite worth it. Does he have 1 tank? Clears up some turrets. You see ByuN creating an opening. He does find some free tanks. Will is a CC, but that's going to be what? 6 tanks going down. Oh my god. 6 tanks go down. That's what ByuN was looking for. It's a massive win here for ByuN. And remember, ByuN, he has more bases, he has more of an economy, and he's able to replenish this, as that was mainly Marine. It's mainly trading Marines. ByuN has a very cheap army in comparison. And if you saw it was making 16 Marines at a time. Out of the tank. Finding all these tanks on siege. Oh my god. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. There's what, 7 more tanks here to just get for free. Tanks are trying to get away. And just a really unfortunate moment here for Percival. His Ravens are out of position. Tanks were caught on siege. They run into more siege tanks. That is all 7 tanks going down for Percival. Ay, ay, ay. And you can see Percival just plummet in supply. Again, we spoke about this earlier, but it was on ByuN to rotate into outposition Percival and find a way in, and he did. He found a way in. And it was also just really unfortunate that Percival just happened to unsiege everything at once. See, all his tanks were unsieged, and yeah, with that, all that build-up that Percival was kind of working towards, not anymore. Not anymore. ByuN does push to the center. Now with a high Viking count, they actually just take the fight here to Percival. Trades with the Vikings. ByuN comes out on top. Now we can hunt down the Ravens. Ravens are now zoned away. And again, it's just been a slow death for the past almost 20 minutes. Like it's at least 15. At least 15. Where Percival, he has just been on the back foot. He's been surviving, but only surviving. Unfortunately, he just had no presence on the map. Hasn't had any way to try to punish or threaten ByuN. ByuN hasn't been in danger at all, like this entire game. Like he's been fine. Yeah, and here we go. The final fight here is Ravens are they're finally getting picked off. GG gets called, and ByuN, he will take game at number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. ByuN, he does take a lead in the series. Again, ByuN, he was able to get a little momentum early on. He was able to deny the upgrades, able to break bases, able to deal damage to the economy. And as I mentioned before, ByuN, for the past almost 20 minutes, he was in the driver's seat. He wasn't able to kill Percival just because of the kind of defender's advantage. Like, it's very, very difficult. You can be up 20, 30, 40 supply, but with a solid siege line and with all those Ravens, we saw that Percival was able to hang in there and hold on. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, he was never able to really threaten ByuN. Like, ByuN was never really threatened that game, just because Percival was stuck defending, right? He was just stuck defending, stuck at home. There were some moments where he went for like a big bio counterattack where he was able to kill a base. That is true, but he only killed the expansion, only got a couple of ACVs. Again, for the most part, ByuN was looking comfortable, and now we're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the top left hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the Red Terran leading the series 1-0, and we'll see if he can claim the series here and now. It is a ByuN. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the blue Terran player, the South Korean Terran, down in the series, and we'll see if he can force the ace match. It is a Percival. Here we go. Why didn't Percival just use better units? True, cap. Once again, as I kind of was mentioning during the game itself, but it did feel like Percival switched into Mass Raven too soon. Because of his switch, he had very little to support his tanks and support his ground army, and it was being punished early on. Like, early on is when Percival was losing bases, losing economy, losing tanks, and that's why Percival had no presence. Sure, he eventually was able to build up into that high Raven tank count, but it was too little too late. His base count was lower, he had a lower economy, and he never was able to max out. Right, Percival, he never did quite max out that game, just because of the momentum that ByuN did have. So again, it just felt a little bit too soon. Meanwhile, ooh, 2 racks. Okay, so 2 racks open out of Percival. This is a bit of a, I was almost going to say misread. This is a gamble. We speak about this all the time, but going for a 2 racks opener back at home, this is 2 racks Reaper. The goal here is to hard counter proxy 2 racks. So he's assuming that ByuN, after winning game 1, is going to proxy. I don't blame him. The Korean Terran's very fond of doing that, right? If the Korean Terran, referring to Kyor, Maru, ByuN, if they take a lead, then they're more than happy to cheese. But unfortunately, unfortunately that's not the case here. ByuN is going for a standard opener, and that does put a lot of pressure on Percival. So the pressure is on Percival to achieve something here with his higher racks count, with his higher Reaper count. ByuN just has to chill and get into his own Hellion production. Life's hard as a Marine in ByuN's army. You say life's hard. Life is short as a Marine in ByuN's army. So, smurge. It's true, he can be a little bit, I don't know if I want to say careless, but you know what, he has a lot of faith in his bandwidth gun. Believes in you. For a little time you're out there. Oh, as ByuN shoots first, oh no! Yeah, ByuN shoots first, he doesn't quite kill the Reaper, but does punish and does hold. So ByuN defends. Again, Percival, he's continuing Reaper production. Percival, he's committed, and he has to find some damage. Goes in once again, does get targeted down, losing 1, losing 2 Reapers. Oof. Rough start. Very rough start here for Percival. I mean, we mentioned it was a gamble, right? It was just a gamble going for a 2 rank opener. It did not pay off. With that, ByuN, he does take a lead and can now expand. Mass Reapers, let's go. And right. Well, as we mentioned, just to re-emphasize, the build that Percival went for was supposed to hard counter a cheese, right? Like he was hoping that ByuN was going for a proxy, and ByuN didn't go for a proxy. So that's why this is just a really rough position for Percival. The gamba, baby, the gamba. Again, these Reapers, they don't really scale too well into a longer game, and we're headed into a longer game. So from here, we're building up. Now, bearing in mind that it isn't over or anything like that, but there's still just a lot of pressure on Percival to find some damage here to transition. We have the add-on swap, so we're not going into early stim. No early stim. Heading to his Ravens. Now, a lot of this will come down to the third base timing. It comes down to when and if our third bases are taken. Then we go third CCs on the way for Percival, actually getting it faster than ByuN. And this is a bit of a risk, but Percival, he has to take risks here. So Percival is being a little bit greedier, and we'll see if he gets away with it. Going for his third, so is ByuN. And we'll see who's going to be the more active player. Oof. As Percival gets caught out, losing 2 more Reapers. ByuN has gained map control. So both players are getting to their own Ravens. Percival, he does bypass the army. Okay, let's go. Gets in. Gets 1, gets 2, gets up to 3 SCVs. Not bad. Getting up to 4. And 4 SCV kills at the same time. Raven harassing the main base because 3 SCVs across the map as well. So we have a back and forth. Oof. Cyclones poke in. Meanwhile, the Cyclone in the natural base is still up and running. 9 SCV kills. Okay, 9 SCVs go down. A very nice damage and very necessary damage. Again, it was a really rough start for Percival. His early Reaper commitment wasn't worth it, but he was able to bypass ByuN, get into the mineral line, and recover. So 9 SCVs go down. Oh, I say that another order's hard into the main. This CC is faster. What does that mean? That means the orbital is faster, and that means the mules are going to be faster as well. So the momentum swings in favor of Percival somewhat, and now the pressure's on ByuN. Now, the scary thing about what just happened is that ByuN does have the larger army, right? ByuN, he does have a lot more to work with. And even though Percival has a faster CC, can he actually hold on to this location? Can he actually defend the third? As ByuN, he gets high some. Yeah, he sees the third base being landed. ByuN, who late reaction. Yeah, late reaction at the ByuN, who lose 1 Cyclone. And Percival, he does take his third. Third base is getting up. So far, so good. So faster third base, a better economy here for Percival. ByuN, his own third base is still in his main. Percival breaks out. And now the momentum has swung from one, back to the other, back to the other. Now it's going to be on Percival to potentially even delay the third base of ByuN. He's pushing. Rotating towards the third. Gets spotted by the Hellion. ByuN getting in position. He's up to 4 Ravens. Okay. Jesus. Didn't quite notice that, but 4 Ravens here from ByuN. There's a lot of potential here in a high Raven count with disables, with auto turrets. The downside, of course, is that he has no Vikings. Speaking of, Percival has 2. He has 2 Vikings with his main army, but the Vikings are not quite in position. ByuN, he's going for the mineral line. He's going for the natural. But this also means that he won't have any defensive Ravens. True. Uh-oh. And this might just trigger Percival. Yeah, Ravens, they go in. Percival, he commits. He's going for it. No defensive disables. Percival, he commits across the map. Oh! Tanks are pre-sieged. Ravens moving in. Does disable 1. Nice on siege. Clutch save out of ByuN. He does pull back. At the same time, 7 SCVs going down. There's still plenty of Ravens across the map. Plenty of energy. 1 tank goes down. But Percival, he's gaining ground. He's slowly pushing in. Does land the disable. It does siege on top of the ramp. Yeah, massive missiles are goes off, and Percival gets into the mineral line. SCVs are going down, and this may just end the game. He's going for it. Oof. If ByuN runs through the tanks, massive tank shots go off, the Marines go down, and Percival, he has done it. He has broken the natural. Plenty of bio army. Plenty of Marines, still has his Ravens. Oh, does overextend for a moment. Does overextend, rotates over. Going for the tank. No repairs, dog. No repairs out of ByuN. And Percival, he broke the natural, now he's going for the third. He's going for the third base. Barely not enough Marines. Meanwhile, auto charts are still popping off across the map. But again, this is the risk that ByuN took because he had no Ravens defensively. No defensive Ravens. No defensive disables. Or even auto turrets. Both players are hurting. Without any Marines, Percival cannot push into the base. He can't push into the natural. And ByuN is breaking out. Hey, Sims on 4, nice spread, nice split. So it takes out every single tank. And ByuN, he reclaims his third. Reclaims his third base. And now we need to take a moment here to take stock. Where exactly are we? Both players are on 3 bases. True, ByuN has a slight worker lead with 49 SCVs. As the Ravens are still alive, they're still harassing. Barely alive, Jesus. Barely still alive. So ByuN has the better economy. He has the higher worker counts. And when it comes to the main army here, it's still quite close. The armies looks like they do miss each other. ByuN dropping into the natural. Percival, a lot of his armies across the map. Main forces at the third. ByuN, he will siege. Does siege in time. Ooh, punishes the Marines. But Percival, he has enough. He has enough to defend. He defends, he attacks. Gets 7, 8, 9 SCVs across the map. Oh! Matter of fact, barely gets away. Barely gets out. Whew. And it's still very tense. It's still very tense. It's still very chaotic here. Again, ByuN, he has a slightly higher worker count. We're milling as hard as we can. 2-2 starts off with both players at around the same time. Do have +1 vehicle weapons here for Percival. So we'll have the slightly better tank upgrades. And after a very chaotic start, we're slowing down. Yeah, we're slowing things down. Percival, he does bypass the army. Trying to slip by. But for the most part, again, the game is slowing down. Our players are building up. Percival, he is going to be the first to commit across the map. Okay, what do we have? The tank count is in favor of Percival. He has double the tank count. He has his Liberators and the higher Viking count as well. What does ByuN have? More Marines. As always, ByuN has a higher Marine count instead. And his Ravens. See, Percival's trying to bully forward here with his Liberators. Oh. Be forced to pick up. Okay, he does siege in time. Massive tank shots. Your tank shots going off. Massive stable on the tanks though. Ay, ay, ay. And ByuN, he does catch him. Yeah, he does catch him. He'll clean up. He'll swap the entire army. The MVP Ravens disables every single tank, and Percival, he plummets in supply. Oof. He had potential. He had so much potential here. If he was able to zone away the Ravens, then maybe. But the Ravens, they disabled all the tanks. And ByuN breaks out. ByuN, he breaks through the center, pushing through the right-hand side. And back at home, what is it to defend? We got 2 tanks back at home. Oof. Down to 1. 1 tank left. ByuN a little bit too far back. Good does siege forward. Getting within range of the CC. No more defensive Liberators. And Percival just being denied his 3rd base. Oof. Punishing the Vikings. 3-3 now on the way for ByuN. And Percival going for a bit of a Hail Mary play. He's just rushing across the map with all his Marines. I mean, we get some efficient trades here by Percival just punishing the ByuN. Forces them in. And Percival, can he bring down the Planetary? Do we go for the base trade? He stays. Planetary will fall. Despite the mass repair here, there are just so many Marines. At the same time, ByuN also going for the center base. Also going for the Planetary, but this time with tanks. Oh god, the Planetary is holding its own. No shot. The Planetary holds. The match repair was good enough, and with that, Percival, he just falls too far behind. He had to at least kill the base. He fails to kill the expansion. Will lose his zone. Once again, Percival, he plummets in supply. SCVs are pretty good. Saves the Planetary. And ByuN is just pulling Percival apart, dropping into the main. Takes down 26 SCVs. GG gets called. It's just too much to handle, and ByuN, he takes the series 2-0, advancing on to the grand finals. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations here to ByuN as he does claim the series. My condolences to Percival. He was able to hold his own. Honestly, game 1 was more one-sided. Game 1 was like 30 minutes, but it was a lot more one-sided in favor of ByuN almost the entirety of the game. Here in game 2 was more back and forth. Like, we had moments for Percival, we had moments for ByuN. Percival, he was able to punish ByuN for harassing with all of his Ravens. Remember, ByuN, he moved out with 4 Ravens across the map, and ByuN was dying. ByuN, he was losing so many SCVs. But those 4 Ravens were also doing so much counter damage, dealing an equivalent amount of economic damage across the map. So both players were still on a very even economy. That led into a longer mid game, and we saw that in the end, Percival got caught out one too many times. That big moment in the center of the map where he had the higher Liberator count. He had 6 tanks, he had 2 Liberators, he had 4 Vikings. but the Ravens got the disable off on every single tank. He got caught in the center. He lost everything. Lost the tanks, lost the Bio, lost the Liberators, lost the momentum. GG. GG, well played with that. Congratulations from ByuN. I mean, again, TvT is very positional based, and I feel like especially game 2 showed that, right? It was able to show that, able to show players kind of outmaneuvering each other, getting across the map and punishing each other as well, and even getting punished at times. But with that, congratulations to ByuN as he does advance on, and we're getting ready for those grand finals. It's going to be a best of 5 finals between ByuN and a Protoss opponent. Exclamation mark B in the chat to have a look back yourselves. Oh, that is not the bracket. There we